Ready? Well, are you
We're
two
live on our end?
Good.
As far as I know, we are. Fuck cunt. What? Oh wait, we're not supposed to say that.
Fuck off, you cunt.
Fuck off.
Oh.
Whoa, you guys are getting glitchy now.
Really?
Oh.
Well, it's probably because we're live now.
Yeah, it's wicked.
So yeah, as you can tell, listeners, we've had some technical difficulties. These guys are in England, which is the first problem. Second problem is there's like 15 of them. I don't know. I can't really tell. No, I'm just kidding. There's 3. But between OBS, StreamYard, and Restream, and Rockfin, it's I think it's a bit much on the system. We might be breaking the internet here.
Technology.
Technology. Everything good on your end, though?
Good as it's going to get, I think.
Okay. Works for me. So this is Swapcast, so you guys can just start it off if you want, and we'll...
I was going to say, you can drive, because we drove last time.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Well, welcome to the show, then. We're live with Amish Inquisition, and you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to start it out, and we'll go from there.
Hey guys, thanks for having us. I'm Ben from the Amish Inquisition. We've got Phil and Matt here.
Yeah, I'm Amish Matt. And this is Amish Phil. We've done it all in the wrong order. Normally it's Phil, Ben, Matt. So that's completely thrown us, basically. We've done that for 231 times.
Well, usually we go by our stage names, don't we?
The dwarf, the cripple, and the mother of madness.
Now you've got to guess who's who.
What do you think, Joe? Jen, who's the dwarf?
I'm thinking it's Phil.
Just because he looks a little bit like a dwarf with the beard and the whatnot.
Yeah.
Throw some fucking orcs at me, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Throw me over that fucking bridge.
There's 2 more to guess yet. So where's the other ones going then?
Who's the cripple?
That's Ben for sure.
Yep.
Yes. That's pretty harsh. And I'm the mother of madness by default.
Yeah, I've got your daughter with you tonight, Matt.
Oh, God. Yeah, yeah. That doesn't come out until later.
So, yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's nice to be here. And if you're on our side of the streams, we've got Joe and Jen here from Legit Bat.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I had a button for that. I'm cheersing myself. Wow.
So, how's the madness over there?
Oh, it's great. I was going to ask you guys the same thing because it's been a hot minute since we've talked. It's
Yeah, you
over
guys
a
were
year.
you guys were locked down, I think, before when we talked last time. You guys couldn't leave your homes, I think.
Yeah.
Was it that bad? I can't remember. When was it when we last spoke? Do you remember or not?
I'd have to look, but
while
it
ago.
was at least a year ago.
Hardcore COVID time. But things are fine over here. They always have been. We live in that part of California that's cool. It's this tiny little county. Nobody cares here.
How's your illustrious president or whatever the fuck you call him? Borass Johnson?
Bojo the clown.
Yeah.
Hanging on to his job by the skin of his teeth, isn't he?
Yeah,
As usual.
he's pretty toxic. I think he's just done his first TV interview for about a year, hasn't he? I see he got interviewed by somebody like one of the breakfast news hosts recently, and was like, that was another car crash interview. But here it's like COVID's not a thing anymore.
No, we beat it.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
Zero COVID policy.
Oh,
Yeah,
now it's
works every
monkeypox.
time.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you guys got monkeypox over there yet?
Oh, yeah, but
yeah,
you'll get that eventually.
yeah. So apparently you only get that from having sex, though. So I don't.
Oh,
get
yeah,
to do
we're
that.
fine.
Or from what we learned from our last show, if you lick the pus from one of the monkeypox sores, then you'll get it too. So just don't do that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, don't lick the pus.
Yeah, if you're into that, don't do it if somebody has monkeypox.
Hang on, let me write that down.
Pussy rashes.
Don't lick the pussy rashes.
Pussy rashes.
Is that some kind of bacon?
Where do you guys think that's going with the monkeypox thing? You think it's going to be the next thing, the next big thing, or is it just a fading fad?
Belgium have just introduced 21-day compulsory quarantine for monkeypox, haven't they? And I think Spain or one of the other EU Netherlands are bringing it in as well.
As in what?
I'm just waiting for the mass PCR testing to start again.
Oh, so like you've got to stay in now, have you?
21 days in Belgium.
So
Yeah.
if you get diagnosed with it, you've got to stay in the house. Or what? Is that what you're saying?
It's compulsory quarantine if you have the pox
Oh, right. Okay.
in Belgium.
How do they know if you have it though? Can you be asymptomatic with monkeypox? Like you test positive, but you have 0 pox on you, and they're just like, no, you have to quarantine.
That's
now.
going to be the next thing because monkeypox is not asymptomatic. It's rashes that are visible on your body. It's going to be really hard for them to do it like a COVID thing where they can pretend it's the flu or a cold.
The thing is
They're
that
going to be
You
like,
test positive, and you're
You
like,
have it
no,
or
I
you
have to
don't.
stay home. Sorry, I have it. That's it.
that COVID asymptomatic transmission was based on one study, and it was 4 people. I think it was, wasn't it? There was
Is it a meeting or something?
there was a business meeting. There was a woman there from China, and they said that she was in a meeting with 4 other people in Germany, or wherever it was, and these 4 other people got COVID, and she had no symptoms. So they published this study. What they didn't do is actually talk to the woman. If they'd talked to her, they would have known that she did have symptoms. And so the whole asymptomatic charade was carried off on that one thing that they just jumped on and then pushed it out. And we're not safe until everybody's safe. It's the mantra.
This
Well,
is
that
like a
whole thing
nostalgia
was never a
episode.
thing up until 2020. They used to call asymptomatic not being sick. I've said that a million times. I'm like, you go to work and you're like, no, I feel fine. And they're like, wait a minute, let me stick this in your nose. It says you're sick, so you need to go home. It's like, no, I feel fine though, seriously. But yeah, you're probably just asymptomatic though. You really are sick. It's like, what?
Yeah, we had this story. We had the news people saying, assume that you're ill at all times. To reduce the spread. Assume you have it. That was we were being fed.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Hey, monkeypox is going to be way easier to get off work though, because I think I said on the last show, a good makeup job, and I could just walk into work and be like, I gotta go home. Sorry. Look at me. Look at my
just
face.
show them your hand.
Yeah, look at the pox. You don't even need it all over the place. Just on the part outside of my uniform, just a couple little dots here and there.
Yep. You got the pox.
Easy. Jeez.
It's like a callback, isn't it? The pox from like the Middle Ages or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's just
a pox on you.
Yeah.
Is it like a pox? Is it just another name for a pustule? Is that what the pox is of it?
Don't know.
That's a nasty word, dude.
I think most poxes have pustules.
Yeah. Like chicken pox?
Yeah, chicken pox, cow pox,
Yeah.
smallpox.
Yeah.
Smallpox is the bad
I'm
one.
surprised they didn't go with smallpox. Like when we first heard monkeypox, I'm like, I thought for sure smallpox would be the next thing, because didn't they talk about that a little bit last year?
Dr. Bill did, didn't he?
Has it not been eliminated? Is that not one of the diseases that's been eradicated from? It's just in sort of labs, so it won't escape.
One in Russia and one in the States, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Do we not have it at Boscombe Down here?
I don't know.
You'd know, Ben.
Porton Down, not
It might
Boscombe
have
Down.
done a bit. Sorry. Yeah, it was eradicated. I want to say, I know they stopped doing the vaccinations for smallpox over here in the early 70s.
Right.
So I don't know when the last case of smallpox was, if that's even a thing, because I don't trust anything anymore.
Do you know?
Oh, you can't, can you?
No, not
Good
at all.
good
Well, what's the
justification.
propaganda with Ukraine going on over there right now? That seems to kind of died down a little bit. They still keep it, every once in a while popping back in, but it's not near what it was in February or March, at least over here.
It's been taken over by runaway inflation and food shortages and energy prices.
Oh yeah, it's shit.
Yeah, the main story over here now is called the cost of living crisis. So,
We'll be having cost of living lockdown soon.
cost of living lockdowns.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You're
they'll-
too poor to leave your house.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be voluntary, but yeah. There was a story this week of a woman, I think, with a young child who was practically living on the bus. She had like a bus pass or something, and she was staying on the bus because it was warm.
I think a lot of
Some
homeless
shit
do
like
that.
that.
It's kind of a good deal. I mean, besides the occasional feces and barf and stuff like that.
I read an article about a couple who sold their home and all they do is travel on cruise ships because it's cheaper than actually paying their mortgage and buying food and paying for gas. They just live on cruise ships year round and it's like $43 a day or something. And they get free food. It's all inclusive.
That's a hell of a way to live.
Kick ass.
Oh, that's
I'm
amazing.
down.
Which cruise liner was this? Asking for a friend.
So they switched different ones. They just like pick the cheapest deals, I think, and just go hop on different cruises. I don't know. It's probably different cruise lines, but there's always deals going on. So
How
we
do
could
they
maybe do?
How do they earn money? Do they have
They might
like
be retired. So they might have fixed income, like Social Security or retirement, something like that, which is not a lot usually. It doesn't have to be a lot, I guess, if you're paying $43 a day and everything's included.
Well, you could do it. You could remote work, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
most-
you could.
Yeah.
If you had Wi-Fi, sometimes I imagine it's not always awesome when there's storms and shit out at sea. But
You probably wouldn't want to try to live stream from a cruise
Yeah.
ship. That might not be the best.
No, I went on a cruise
Your
once.
stream.
Mm.
You are.
I went on a cruise.
Cruising now.
I went on a cruise, yeah, once for my honeymoon. And the internet was poor, yeah, basically.
So you had to converse with your new wife.
Yeah, and I got the shits, yeah, on the last day as well. So
wow.
that was wicked.
You got the shit.
Yeah, so I was like, the worst case scenario, we were pulling back in to Miami, and that was it. Yeah, like 5 o'clock in the morning on the toilet, changed the toilet for like 3 hours, and I had to fly home. Yeah, it was worse than that.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's like I don't know how. I can't remember if it. Yeah, that's more like it. 6 hours. 6 hours one way, isn't it? 10 hours the other. So I can't remember which way it was.
Because you left time.
Yeah.
You stepped out of time.
Yeah.
That is wild to get the shits on a cruise ship. Like I've never been on a cruise ship, period. So to
Me either.
have something like that, like I have the shits frequently anyway. Obviously, I have the sound effects to prove it. But to get the shits on a ship, ship shit. So are the bathrooms there like super small though? I imagine they're not like a normal sized bathroom. So how was that? Tell me the details about having the shits on a cruise ship. I'm interested.
Okay. I mean, well, obviously, your toilet's basically in your bedroom, isn't it? So, I imagine like it was like one of those situations. Yeah, thank you. Where the toilet and the shower are kind of in. There's no separate shower cubicle. It's like a shower room with a sink and a bog. So, I basically was just pooing and pooing and pooing in the toilet, and I could shower myself down.
Did you have a douche?
There was no bidet. But,
No bidet.
there was no bidet. No,
Do you not douche it up with the shower head just for some relief?
no.
That'd be my go-to move. Watch
No
that
point
crack.
when you know there's more coming.
Yeah, it's just. It was just, it was just so disappointing.
What are you doing in there? Shh. It's washing my anus.
Don't come in! Don't come in!
Yeah, and I horrifically burnt myself on the first day of the cruising as well.
Sunburn, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, and also that was the infamous where it's like in downtown Miami, and I bought an iced tea and a coffee.
You bought an iced tea and a coffee.
Yeah, at the same time.
Like,
yeah.
what,
And
so was it a coffee with an iced tea?
No.
chaser?
The man, because he couldn't understand my accent for some reason, and I couldn't understand his. And I said, "Can I have
some
an?"
reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. Can I have like an iced tea, please? He went,
Can I
"What?"
have an iced tea, please?
Yeah, and he went, "What?" Can I have an iced tea? He went, "What?" And I did it a third time. He still couldn't understand me. And I said, "Can I have a coffee then?" He went, "So you want an iced tea and a coffee?" And I went, "Okay."
It's what a nice cup of tea.
Yeah. And God, I needed so many wees after that as well. So started the holiday with lots of weeing, and then I ended the holiday with lots of shitting.
The
So
hero's journey.
It was like a bookend of toilet
Bowel
situations.
movements.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Did anything good happen on this cruise at all? Were there any good takeaways?
Was it the iced tea or the coffee that gave you the shits? Like, what was the culprit in that?
There was no shitting. He said there was shitting, but there was no shitting there. That was just weeing, that one. But I had to wee a lot.
Peeing. Is that peeing?
That's peeing, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta clarify.
So like all the like the days in between, they were fine, and the day before was fine. But it's just those two incidents at either end, really.
What did you make of Miami?
I didn't really see it, to be honest with you.
It's in the bedroom, smashing puss.
No. So I think we went down to South Beach. We were in downtown Miami. I don't know if it was like a Hilton or a Holiday Inn. It was a very short drive from the airport, I seem to remember. And then it was quite close to the port. And then we like got a taxi and you have to go across a bridge or something to like South Beach, I guess, where all the restaurants were. And then we just went and I had a pizza. And that's all I can remember. I was fucking knackered. I've been up for like 3 days trying to get there. So didn't really know what was going on, yeah. And then just got a taxi back. I went to a 7-Eleven, which was exciting for me.
Oh my god!
Wow, why?
Just because I've never been to one. They're on all the movies when they come over, aren't they? 7-Eleven. Wow. 7-Eleven.
Yeah, got to get down to 7-Eleven, pick me up some tobacco smokes.
It was pretty dirty, to be honest with you. But I was quite excited about that. And then I got in a yellow cab. I waved down a cab and got in a cab.
I thought they only had yellow cabs in New York. Is that not right, Joe? Jen?
No, they have yellow cabs everywhere, and they're always. It's weird because I don't know if it's an actual franchised company, but there's Yellow Cab. Like the company Yellow Cab is literally everywhere, and I don't know if they're all connected or if they all just call themselves Yellow Cab because that's.
I think they're a dying business though because of Uber.
Oh yeah, nobody takes cabs anymore.
I did.
Uber's not really taken off over here, has it?
I think in London it has.
Yeah, but that's not England, is it? London. It might as well be a different country.
Yeah. Well, there's not many around here, is there, where we live in Preston?
In the sticks.
No. I think they're in like Manchester and Liverpool, like the bigger cities.
Right.
We got one in Sheffield, didn't we? That was an Uber in Sheffield.
Right, okay.
So what is your equivalent over there of 7-Eleven? Because over here, 7-Eleven isn't just, they're everywhere and not just 7-Eleven. It's just a convenience store or a gas station. They all have the same shit. It's all the same shit. And you go there because you know, like you said, some tobacco smokes.
Dick pills.
Whatever else you want, a little taquito. They got taquitos, burritos, soda, beer. You can get pretty much everything there. So what would your equivalent over there be?
Spa.
Spa, yeah.
Spa,
Actually,
yeah.
a Danish company. They just do like mini marts, I guess.
But like all the big...
weird. Indians own everything over here.
Sorry?
I said Indians, like East Indian people are the ones that own all the like mini marts and shit over here.
Thank y'all. Come again.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, we had the same, I would say we had the similar experience going back a few decades. That was a common sort of stereotype, wasn't it, of the Indian corner shop on the corner of every...
Right.
I would say so, yeah. I wouldn't say now. They seem to have like disappeared, really, corner shops here, haven't they?
Like,
It's mostly petrol stations, isn't it? Gas stations just sell everything.
like we used to have like little independent corner shops that would be like a family-run concern, small business, and there'd be one every dotted around every blooming kilometre or something, wouldn't there? There'd be a corner shop.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a terraced house, basically? Have you heard of that term, a terraced house?
No.
So
No,
it was
but
basically
very
like in our towns, basically, and sort of in the north of England, other places as well, terraces of houses are like rows of houses. They're all kind of joined together all the way along a street, and they've got like 2 rooms upstairs, 2 rooms downstairs, and they tended to be sort of like built for mill workers and things like that in the Victorian period, maybe. And there's bigger ones and smaller ones. But basically,
that sounds like a condo or like a townhouse here.
Yeah.
It's like that in Philadelphia and other cities like that on the East Coast mostly.
Oh, you would know that because you're East Coast / West British over there.
Yeah. So and then like every few streets on the corner there would be a corner shop basically, but they've all most of them have gone now basically.
Yeah, well, the chains come in. We get chains like One Stop or Spar or like the big supermarkets. Maybe I want to say maybe 20 years ago, all the big supermarkets like Asda, which I think is owned by Walmart, and Tesco and Morrison's, they all started opening small shops called express stores and taking over petrol stations and that. So, yeah, it's difficult for like the independent corner shop to keep going, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the thing is, they were like, I remember we used to go to one on the corner of Fazakerley Street, and I think it was called Beers, Wines and Spirits.
What did it sell?
Beers, Wines and Spirits. And Nesquik. I used to badger my dad for toffees and Nesquik milkshakes and shit, and he wouldn't give me it, never, you know. And I remember him telling me that like the guy who run the shop, he was devastated because his son had no interest in carrying on the business. So this guy had like started this shop up from nothing. He'd run it for 30 years. He was getting towards retirement, and his son, who used to help him out, he was about the same age as me, and he used to help him out in the shop when he was a kid. And well, no, he wants to go to uni and do media studies. Yeah, it's like he don't want to run a corner shop anymore. And so I think that's why a lot of them disappeared, because it's like a lifestyle. Those shops are open. What's the average corner shop open from?
Well,
8 till 11 at night.
7-Eleven,
Yeah,
7 to 11.
Yeah,
well,
roughly.
yeah, probably.
And so the family businesses.
24 hours. Like we have the AM/PM over here. That's a big one, well, at least in California. But AM/PM is a big one over here, and most of them are open 24 hours a day. Which you can imagine the shit they see at 3 o'clock in the morning at a convenience store that sells booze and cigarettes.
I'm the son of the Pope.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So it's difficult for a family, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need staff to be able to operate
But I
such
think-
long hours.
Back in the day, you would live above the shop, wouldn't you? That's the thing.
The future is no staff at all. I was in China last year, 2 years ago. No, not last year, obviously. That was pandemic. We were all locked down. Just before the pandemic. in
Ben went to
China-
Wuhan just before the pandemic, didn't
It
you?
wasn't Wuhan. No, it was Shenzhen. But there was a
Wuhan.
like a 7-Eleven type shop there, and it had no staff in it, nothing. It was just the produce and then some sort of screen that I couldn't understand because it was all in Chinese. So I picked out all this stuff that I could recognize as, you know,
Food.
potato chips or whatever. Yeah, and I had this armful of stuff, and I thought maybe the shopkeeper is really short and is behind this counter in the corner. I couldn't see them, but no, I went over and there was just nothing. It was a screen I didn't know what to do with, and I was stood with all this stuff that I wanted to buy. Couldn't do anything with it. Just had to put it back in the end and walk out because I thought I'm definitely on camera here. If there's no, I can't do anything with this but put it back. Otherwise, my social credit score would go through the floor. But yeah,
That
it
is
was
dystopian
crazy.
as shit. I think I've seen a movie
It
like
was all
that.
100% automated, so there was no people. It was
No
just
people.
machines running the place.
Yep.
That's wild.
We
You
have
should have tried to steal something and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll
Am I not
avoid
here
it.
to tell the tale?
Ain't no swab
Surrounded
test.
by the CCP upon exiting.
Yeah.
I went to Asda today, which it is Walmart
It is,
bought
yeah,
it.
Walmart.
No, it used to be Walmart, didn't it? The Easter brothers bought it. For,
Oh, Euro garages, yeah.
Right. So I went to Asda today because my mum's run out of gin, and it's her birthday next week. So I had to get her some nice gin. And I went to pay, and I think they had maybe 4 tills open, 4 human cashiers. And then they had the self-paying bit where you go and you scan your thing and then you pay at a machine. And they had this new thing called, what was it called? I think it was called Scan and Go or something like that. And the trolleys have a little scanner on it.
oh, is that what that is?
And when you pick an item off the shelf, you scan it and then put it in your trolley. And then you get, when you're done, you get herded into this bit where you pay it with an app or a QR code or something, and then you go.
Oh, right, okay. I've always wondered
Holidays
what they
like
were.
that. Here, we have a store that does that. You just scan it as you go, and then you get to the little thing. You scan your little QR code or whatever, and then you just pay. You don't have to ring anything up. It's already been scanned.
It's like
Weird.
they're making you do the work, aren't they? It's like it's
Right.
great for the shop, isn't it? Like you're doing it. You're picking everything up and
Manager,
scanning
you
it and then
pay,
doing.
just demand payment. for your services. I've been here for an hour. I deserve at least $15. Thank you.
Or at least a discount on the shit you bought.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say that. What do you think? Could you see them bringing that in? Like maybe you get 5% off or something if you do the work of scanning it all and sorting the payment.
No, they won't bring it in after the fact, would they? They've got away with it now.
Yeah, but I mean, not everyone's doing it.
They're going to make you restock what you took too, and it's going to be a customer-driven store where everything's restocked by the customers and paid for.
Yeah, you
That's
go
a
to
brilliant
return
model.
something, and they're like, "All right, you can go put that on the shelf. It's on aisle 1, bay 25."
Yeah.
I make a point of always using cash. I always pay with cash whenever I do my shopping. If it means like going to the cash point and drawing it out. So I have to deal with a human.
You fool.
That way it's not tracked either. Everything you buy is on a ledger somewhere. I mean, look at your receipt. Everything's tracked. Do you think that the credit card company isn't tracking and using your data to figure out, what advertisements they want to send you? So yeah, if you're using cash all the time, you're a lot less under the radar, I would think, in theory.
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely.
I just think if we don't lose it, if we don't use it, we'll lose it.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. To be honest with you.
Like the central bank digital currency and all that stuff coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a matter of time. So I'm just going to be like the last holdout with a wedge of 20s like that. You'll never take me alive.
Got your pension under your mattress.
I was reading about a company that is trialing paying its employees' wages in gold. What's that all about?
Is that in Russia?
It's insane.
No, I don't think so. Somewhere in the Western world somewhere. I just saw the headline. I was just hoping somebody else had read it so they could tell me about it, but obviously not.
Oh, you got to put that shit in the Discord, man.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll Google it in a minute and put it in.
No.
That would be pretty interesting to go to the store and just plop a couple rocks of gold on the counter and be like, what can I get?
You'd have to
Let's
get
me
like
6,000 fucking cigarettes.
You have to carry a lump of gold with you and like a shaver, some sort of you can shave off
a cheese grater.
Cigarettes worth of gold shavings.
Just do it right there on the counter.
You just meeting, making it rain. You just fucking cheese grater.
It's in my eye. It's in my
Swap
eye.
everywhere.
You're welcome. That's $3,000.
Keep that.
How's the like Ukraine stuff working in your media and the American media? What are your like perceptions of how you're being programmed?
Well, obviously we don't really pay that much attention to the mainstream media, but we hear it anyway. Even though we don't watch it, it still gets shoved down our necks all the time. But it seems to have kind of fallen off. And it started with Chris Rock and what's the other?
Smith.
Will Smith. That whole thing. I'm sure you guys heard about that. And then what happened after that? I don't know. There's been like 4 things since then.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial.
And then
Another
Monkeypox.
distraction, Monkeypox, all that weird shit is kind of taking over Ukraine. But you should tell them about your sister.
Oh yeah, my sister lives over there, and it's really strange because she took the fuck off as soon as all this started. But as far as I know, she's never seen anything herself with her own eyes. She's gotten pictures and videos from friends of like destruction of different areas and whatever. And she just recently went back to her house, which is about 20 minutes out of Kiev. So they're pretty close, even though Russia didn't even go for Kiev or didn't try. I don't even know what the whole thing is there, but so she's never actually seen anything herself. All she knows is basically what she's seen on a screen as well, which is all we know, what we see on our screens. So I don't know what to make of it myself. I don't think it's as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. But even if it is, it seems like the U.S. kind of baited Putin into doing this by trying to advance NATO. And Putin was like, no, if you advance NATO, I'm going to do some shit. I don't want NATO, which is fair. I mean, NATO is not a good guy, in my opinion. So I don't really know what to make of it. I think Putin has his reasons, and obviously there's reasons for backlash against it and demonizing him and demonizing all of Russia. It's not just Putin. It's kicking people off soccer teams.
Tennis players,
but banning the Russian blue cats from the cat. I don't know if that's real or not.
But all the stores that took all of the Russian vodka off their shelves and threw it away, I was like, you're wasting fucking money. You already bought it. Like, so you're hurting yourself and your own business at this point, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
I don't think you got the memo, you guys over there, because
Putin is Hitler.
Putin is Hitler.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's what we get.
There's a lot of speculation in our press about Putin's health. I don't know if you get that a lot. There's like a lot about whether he's got cancer or whether he's got dementia or, you know.
Maybe he's got...
I got hairy legs.
Or hairy legs. Yeah, so there's all of that going on, isn't there? Definitely. It's been spun that way that he's just crazy and out of his mind.
Are you hearing that about health concerns for old Vlad the Impaler?
I read something that he was in a chemo haze or something from cancer treatment the other day.
Yeah. And
that's weird that they would talk about him being in a chemo haze and say nothing about fucking Biden.
Are you in Oregon?
I know. This is... I mean,
What's the more obvious one here?
You would say that Putin comes across as more competent than Biden, mentally competent.
Are you having a laugh?
Oh.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is.
Oh, it's a mega mix.
The foothills.
Like
the remix.
Where's your home?
When he's doing his speeches, Biden, it is like, and it's one of the ones on the teleprompter, and it's like he's got like whatever the background behind him, and it's so sort of like he's really having to try to get it right, and it is like when you've had a relative and they're not quite right, and you're looking at them, you're thinking, oh my god, it's mad, isn't it?
I mean, the VP is not much better. I love that meme. Have you seen that meme that's been going around? Because she's famous for word salads.
No, I don't know.
And this meme going around where they've chopped her head off and put a salad ball in there. I just love that. I love that. It's beautiful. It's a work of art.
She's been...
Yeah, what was that? The famous one, the significance of the passage of time that she said like 4 times in the same sentence.
Time is significant because of the significance of the passage of time. Like she just said the same words in different ways over and over.
Oh, I actually have a sound clip of her.
What's the one where she talked about outer space? She's like, space is big. Space is unknown. Or
yeah, and then the one where she talked about Ukraine. She's
Ukraine
like,
is a smaller country than Russia.
Yeah, Russia is a big country. Ukraine's a small country. That's not right for the big country to go harass. It was some weird.
It was like she was on an episode of Sesame Street and she was teaching opposites, big and small.
Yeah.
There was
prostitutes.
Brought to you by the letter B.
I think she was doing a press conference with the Polish Prime Minister. And like they were asking her about like the refugee, what is the US going to do with the refugees and whatnot? And she's like,
a friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, I can first.
just can't stop cackling.
Is she like, I don't know, because I don't really see her. I don't think I've ever seen her talk or anything on our news, but does she seem like she's out of her depth? Does she?
Does that mean crazy?
Well, crazy, or just doesn't really, can't. I suppose, with Obama, he kind of came across as like he was like sort of very much in control in terms of what he said, and he's very careful with what he said and all the rest of it. And he came across as erudite and all the rest of it. But she's just not like that, basically.
No, she doesn't seem like she knows what the fuck she's doing any more than Joe Biden does. She seems like she's on a different level all the time. Like she doesn't even know she's VP. She's kind of just like doing this job and they tell her what to do. They're like, oh, by the way, you have a schedule and here's your schedule. And she's like, okay, yes, I'll do that. And has no fucking idea that she's a vice president of the U.S., in my opinion.
I'm surprised she's not the actual president yet. I think we were all expecting for Biden to either die mysteriously or be taken down from his post because of incompetence and then have her pushed up.
Yeah, I was expecting that by now.
Yeah,
she's big on working together, though, Kamala.
That is especially true when it comes to the climate crisis, which is why we will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements that we will convene to work together on to galvanize global action. With that, I thank you all. This is a matter of urgent priority for all of us, and I know we will work on this together.
Fuck off, he can't.
You're right. Wow, she sounds like a real team player.
She's big on it. She's big on it. Mm. She's the whole.
It sounds like she couldn't figure out what to say, so she just kept saying "work together." If I keep saying "work together," they'll just listen and hear "work together."
I think she's stoned. I think she's stoned most of the time.
It's a big shout.
It is a big shout.
Yeah, she would be a lot cooler if she was stoned, I think. But I think she's probably just on. Oh, hang on. In the chat, we had somebody demanding fart sounds. So 1 second intermission here. There you go.
This is such a crock of shit.
Sorry, guys.
Oh. Shit. Anyway. So I think she's what do you think about the clone idea? I know that's pretty far out there, but I don't think it's an impossibility. I feel like they've had the ability to clone things for a long time, and Dolly the fucking sheep in the 90s was just kind of like a look what we can do, look what I can do. And they probably have had that technology for a while. I'm not saying Kamala or Joe Biden are clones, but it would not surprise me if they were. Same with Boris Johnson. Fuck that guy, by the way.
Fuck them all, man. What has happened to politicians? I don't know. I can't remember a time where politics has been so crazy. But I suppose if I spoke to someone a lot older, they'd say, "Oh, it's been like this since
Imperial Rome,
start of time." Yeah, Imperial. Oh, exactly. There you go. We find a Roman and ask them, an ancient Roman. But it just seems mad. It's not just our side of the pond. It's over your side as well. And I know nothing about American politics. So even to the point where, you know, Phil probably knows more than either of us two about American politics.
Hang on.
Sorry, more than me about American politics.
And me.
But it seems to be across the board. It's going nuts. And I don't know why. I wonder what's caused it.
Across the world, just all across the world, it's just about the leaders controlling the people and getting them to fall in line, but also while thinking they're completely safe and doing something that they're not giving up any sort of control or giving up any rights, but at the same time, that's all they're doing. They just want to be having us give up rights under the guise of protection.
A leader should be someone you rally
I think
behind.
it has been like this since the dawn of time with politics, but now it's just so much more in your face because we all have a little device and screens everywhere where it can be broadcasted to us. So I don't think the people in like the Roman times knew how crazy the politics were because it wasn't in their face all the time. They didn't see any of that for the most part.
Apart from the odd person being decapitated and thrown in the Tiber.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I think we saw it a little bit more. They weren't as distracted as we are, that's for sure. They were a lot more present for those whatever meetings that they must have had, if they had any meetings, or whatever the repercussions were for breaking some law. I'm sure they figured it out real
Stocks,
quick.
tomatoes thrown at you and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you think the Pandora's box is open now? You couldn't really go back to a time where politics is behind closed doors because certainly everyone listening to this podcast would say, "Oh, well, what are they hiding from us now? We don't know what's going on. I don't have 24-hour BBC Politics," or whatever that channel's called. You can't go back, can you? There's no way of going back to that time where policies are made behind closed doors and you get polished speeches.
Oh, hang on. Davos is happening right now. It's the first day of the World Economic Forum. That's where all the decisions are made.
Yeah, you can buy a ticket for that thing.
Yeah, 26 grand.
The 22nd, right? We talked about that a couple shows ago. Today's the big vote date. What do you guys think about that whole madness?
Which one's this? The WHO?
Yeah, the pandemic treaty or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Oh, what's this? You have to tell me about this.
Yeah, we covered it weeks ago. It's 2024. It's meant to come in. This is just like a drafting and sort of, you know, where are we? What page are we on, guys? What we planning?
Is this part of Agenda 2024 or whatever?
No, it's WHO. They want to sort of centralise pandemic decision making and preparedness.
Take it away from your own sovereign government.
The idea is that in 2024 is to have a pandemic treaty, which will be ratified, and then Tedros and his mates and
Bob Ross
and Dr. Bill with his
the magic vaccine.
They will be able to dictate, you know, the policy. What your policy is going to be, country to country. Ooh, we've got a hotspot. Monkeypox, smallpox.
Do you think China's going to sign up to that? And Russia?
I don't care about them, really. It's more about what will our country do.
Yeah. I don't know if we'd sign up to that.
There's a petition at the moment with 130,000 signatures. So that is going to be debated in Parliament. But I don't know.
I don't have any doubt it's going to pass here. I think we said that on the last show, too. I mean, with the administration we have, it's pretty much just a shoe-in. They're going to go for it. I would say with your guys's, from what I know, which is not very much of British politics, but I wouldn't be surprised if they join too. Isn't it kind of a UN thing as well? So anybody who's part of the UN, I'm assuming, is going to be on board with it.
Well, every country in the world has been invited to this, except Taiwan, obviously, at the behest of the Chinese Communist Party. They're not allowed. But every other country in the world has been invited to this conference thing that's happening now. So,
even Russia?
Yeah. No, pandemics can't see borders. So, I don't know.
I don't know if Britain will sign up to it because we've made a big fuss over leaving the EU in the last decade. We want to go out and make our own decisions and do our own things.
That's what I was hoping for, yeah.
No, it's nailed on. We'll be signing up.
Is that what that was? I remember hearing about that several years ago, Brexit or whatever. We had some friends that live over in the UK and they were talking about it, but I didn't pay attention because I don't live over there and I don't give a shit about you guys. I'm just kidding.
That's fine. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's not going particularly great, I guess. Boris was always on about getting Brexit done, wasn't he? That was his mandate.
It's done, isn't it? Is it not done?
Well, the Northern Ireland thing's all blown up now, isn't it? So,
what's going on over there?
Nothing. It's nothing. It's like basically the EU wanted to put a border in the Irish Sea, like a trade border between like England, Scotland, and Wales and Northern Ireland. And so the problem is the island of Ireland. You've got Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, and then you've got Southern Ireland, which is part of the European Union. So
weird.
Yeah.
How does that work? It's all the same country, but each half is part of something else. That's weird.
Well,
so guys are too drunk over there.
That's where all the sort of the issues come from. Is like the way it was separated and segregated to a certain extent. So that's where sort of like the IRA and the what's the other one? The
real IRA.
Yeah, the real IRA. I was thinking about more the British side.
Unionists.
The Unionists, yeah. So that's where all the kind of fighting and bombings kind of come from, basically. We fight between that and the fact that, one side wants to be part of the UK and the other side wants the whole of Ireland to be the island of Ireland, basically. Essentially.
It goes back a long way, hundreds and hundreds of years of tension, which was pretty much, we had the Good Friday Agreement in, was it 99?
I think so.
1999?
Maybe a bit earlier, I don't know.
And so it's been relatively peaceful because prior to that, there was decades of bombings, terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had the Arndale Centre in Manchester that was blown up, wasn't it?
In Warrington and was blown up.
Warrington, yeah. It's sort of serious shit, and thankfully we seem to have got past that, and it's been relatively peaceful for 30 odd years, and that was the worry that this Brexit thing might trigger tensions again with the island of Ireland and the people in the south saying, it just mucks things up. The whole thing was we didn't want to have trade restrictions on the island of Ireland. And as I said during the Brexit thing, well, our plan should be, that's fine. We don't want a trade border. We're not going to put one up. It's up to the EU. If they want to enforce their single market, they're going to have to put a hard border on the island. And they can start more sectarian violence if they want. And we're just sort of waiting to see what happens, really. Other than that, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a game of chicken, isn't it? He's going to blink first.
But yeah, the whole Brexit thing was it was like stepping back from globalization and power being held remotely. So we had basically over our country, we had an extra layer of democracy. That was the European Union, with another layer of politicians and a commission that wasn't elected, and all the bureaucracy and all the money that went to Brussels. They used to move from Brussels to Strasbourg, I think once a month. They had to pack up everyone, all the staff, all the offices, all the paperwork from Brussels, and move to Strasbourg for one meeting a month, and then do the same on the way back to appease the French. You know, it's just a money pit that wasn't necessary. Like my view is, I want my politician at the end of my arm so I can wring his neck. That's where they should be. That's where your power should be. It should be local and accountable, not in another frigging country. So Tedros and Gates and the WHO can fucking smoke my dick for all I care. You need to fuck off. Fuck off with this pandemic nonsense.
This is such a crock of shit.
Rant over.
Do you guys have any problems over there with mass shootings? Because that seems to be specific to the U.S. as far as I can tell, especially the newest one, the Buffalo shooter or whatever. Oh yeah, I guess if you don't have guns, that would be a problem. But do you guys ever have that, school shootings or mass shootings? Is that a thing over there?
No.
Occasionally, someone will, like, there was someone, wasn't there, like maybe near Cornwall or something recently, maybe like last year, who had like a shotgun. Like a double-barrel shotgun, and it takes like 2 cartridges, and that's it. And I think he like shot his family, and then maybe next door. So things like that occasionally happen. So he might have killed like 4 or 5 people, but I don't think. Oh, there was Dunblane, wasn't there? 25 years ago, or a bit more.
Only in our country, only like the really hardened criminals have guns,
or farmers.
And farmers.
So we don't have that problem with mass shootings.
Yeah. So, like, you know, gun ownership is virtually hardly anyone's got any guns. Basically.
Unless you're like a drug dealer, hardened criminal, then you'll have access to guns.
Or a farmer.
Or a farmer is allowed to have a shotgun.
Isn't that the funny thing, though? That the only people that have guns are the hardened criminals? Okay, yeah. So that's why I never got about the whole gun thing. Like, it's a cliche to say, oh, if you ban guns, only criminals will have guns. Right? That's fucking true. You know why? Because criminals don't give a shit about the law. That's like saying murder is illegal, so that will drop murder rates. No, because if you're a criminal, you don't give a shit that murder is illegal. You're gonna go kill somebody.
Or drugs.
Yeah,
that
works great with drugs.
Drugs at Walmart, but guess what? We have a huge meth problem here. So I
yeah,
don't know where they're getting them. It's crazy.
We just have stabbings instead.
Yeah, there's a lot of knife crime over here.
Loads of knife crime. Like, it's frightening, the amount of knife crime, particularly in London and other inner cities. And
I don't know if, do you know, I just think it's like a cultural thing in terms of, you know, well, he's carrying a knife, I'm going to carry a knife. You know, your dad had a gun, I'm going to have a gun. You know, it's that kind of, and, you know, if you go out hunting and that's your thing and you want to go and do it, then, I don't necessarily see a problem with that, really. And I think to a certain extent you can do that here. You can apply for a gun license.
Yeah,
I just think
go
it's
hunting, definitely. Yeah,
I think it's the types of guns that you can buy are far more restricted, I guess, aren't they?
So you couldn't have a handgun. You couldn't have anything that was semi-automatic. You'd only really be allowed shotguns, I think.
you can have a handgun. You can have a rifle with, I think, 5 in the magazine, so it's only small and not automatic. Certainly, you can definitely have shotguns.
You can have handguns.
Yeah, if you go to a shooting range, there's loads. I bet loads of people have handguns who go to shooting ranges, target shooting.
I thought they were. I thought there was an amnesty on handguns years ago.
No, you can still get them. It's difficult to get licenses for guns.
Right. So our laws are probably similar. It's probably similar to Canada then.
Or whatever you call your cops, bobbies or whatever the fuck. Do they not carry guns either?
Sometimes.
SO19.
They have tasers though, and a stick.
A taser's pepper spray in it. Yeah, a big stick.
They have a baton, like a club,
baton,
like a club basically. And
those extendable ones.
Yeah, now they've got a nightstick. And I think quite a lot might carry tasers, but not guns. So, like, you know, there are armed response
units.
Yeah, that would. So, you know, I imagine that each police force in each, you know, within sort of like a reasonable sized town would probably have a unit of a certain amount of cops, but not like every single one. No.
Huh. Yeah, because our cops here are armed to the fucking teeth. Like it's more like they're more like military. We've talked about the militarization of police over here, and it really is. It's not just the SWAT team that shows up when there's somebody who's got a hostage in their house or whatever is going on, but it's your normal cop on the street is loaded with arms. Like besides their handgun, they've got the taser, they've got the baton, all the stuff, and then in their squad car they have like an AR and a shotgun, and then they can call in another squad car that has the same shit in like 2 seconds. Like they are armed to the fucking teeth. And then people wonder why there's so many cop shootings. It's because everybody uses their guns on each other. That's just what happens. And most of the cop shootings are in places like Chicago, where guns are supposedly banned, or New York City or Washington DC. All these cities that have the tightest gun regulations is where the highest gun crime is, which makes sense that that's why there's the most cop shootings there too, is because there's other people pointing guns at them. Not saying they're all on the right. We're not going to get into a George Floyd fucking argument here, but it is interesting though that you guys have some of the tightest, as a country, the tightest gun laws, and you said knife stabbings or whatever you call knife wounds, stabbings, yeah. But they're up like crazy, and that does sound kind of like a British thing to me. Like it sounds uniquely British, just so backhanded, some dude walking down the street and just fucking stab.
There's this big thing around zombie knives. Have you heard of those? Like ridiculous kind of knives, they're all serrated on one side. So, like
a Rambo.
Yeah, like a huge hunting knife kind of thing. And they're called zombie knives.
And that your entrails out.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, but there's like a big thing in sort of like the papers and the media about zombie knives. Oh, another zombie knife killing happened, on such a day. So it turns into kind of a big story. So this is the other thing is there are X amount of stabbings or whatever. I think, from my memory, sort of like 5,000 in London, in a city of 7 million. So, is that a lot of stabbings as compared to other cities? I don't know. That's the thing, isn't it? Or is it the media that's kind of saying that it's a big thing and therefore it is?
Well, it's mainly drug related. Sorry, Jen?
Oh, I just said it's definitely the media.
Wow.
Maybe.
A lot of it's drug related, and it's young kids, isn't it? Young inner city kids, 14-year-olds getting stabbed and killed in broad daylight, and a lot of it's just it's a societal thing, isn't it? Yeah, these kids they get sucked into gangs at a young age. Maybe they've no father figure. They look up to some brother or a cousin who's already in this gang, and they get sucked in. I'm sure this is a familiar story to your side of the pond. And before then,
here.
It's the same thing. It's just a different weapon. So I was wondering about that too. Like, what is your other means of mass murder? Like, do people run each other all the time? Because we happened last year. Somebody ran over a shitload of people, and like, there's so many things, so many ways you can kill people. Just so you know, guns aren't the only way. There's so many ways you can kill somebody. So go Google it, because there's a lot. You can use a car. You can use a knife. You can use a baseball bat. You could probably kill someone with a guitar, I'm assuming. I haven't done it myself, but
I probably could, especially if I've had a few beers. Guns don't kill people, rappers do.
Oh God,
calling the police.
Not sure if Goldie Lucky Chain made it across the pond.
No.
Welsh rappers.
Have you heard of Goldie Looking Chain? No. Blank stares. Goldie Looking Chain are like, what would be
like the D12 of our
yeah,
our
like
area.
the D12 of what, Pontypridd?
Yeah, Newport.
Carmarthen.
Yeah.
They're from Wales. And they're Welsh rappers, and they rap about funny things, don't they?
That's Irish.
Dude, I actually enjoy English rap. It's pretty hilarious. I can't understand a fucking word they say, but it's a good beat, and sometimes I catch one or two words here and there, and it's pretty funny.
They're called Goldie Looking Chain.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the first song, I just looked him up. Your Mother's Got a Penis? Is
Yeah,
that one
classic.
of their stuff?
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Banger.
This sounds
Absolute banger.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
hell yeah. It's our speed.
I'm gonna add it to my playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
I think one of them's an MP now.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. One of them is
a member of Parliament.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's what's gone wrong with politics. You're starting a comedic rap act and end up in the House.
Are there any like politicians in the States other than like the Orange Man who have come into it from like obscure, like I don't know, from like music or
Reagan.
entertainment? Well, I would know about Reagan and
Kanye West ran for president too. He didn't get in, but he was still running.
Well, we had Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California. We had Jesse Ventura was I think, the governor of Wisconsin or some shit state over there. We've had a lot of fucking actors and
Ronald Reagan was an actor. That was
Yeah.
back in the day, but still.
I think over here it used to actually be illegal, like against the rules. Like you couldn't run for office if you were an actor for obvious fucking reasons. And then somehow that went away, and now we had.
Now they're like,
what
we
we have
only
now.
want actors, so please sign up. We have we have tryouts.
All we
coming
want
up
is actors
next
now.
month.
Just the best actors. Actually, the worst. Look at Kamala. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they fuck up. Whatever. Some shows don't work out and they get canceled.
Bad casting.
No big deal. There's always next election.
Terrible.
I don't know.
You guys have actors over there. Is Boris an actor?
He's a shit actor, isn't he?
I mean, I think what it seems to be here is, at the moment anyway, is that you kind of get into politics or to be an MP. One of the ways of doing it is getting famous first. So like Boris was a columnist, and then he kind of started appearing. I seem to remember him appearing on like a news panel show that we had here, like a comedy panel show. And he then ran for mayor of London, kind of off his notoriety, I guess, as like the conservative sort of nominee, I guess, to do it. And then he eventually sort of wheedled his way up to being prime minister, didn't he?
That was his first job in politics, or his first job in public office, mayor of London.
Yeah, weird.
Like one of the financial capitals of the world. 8 million people, huge budgets. That was his first job. Well, I mean, I suppose that's not a big deal when you think about Schwarzenegger and Trump and other guys. It's but it's unusual for us. Most of our ruling class are sort of groomed from a young age.
Yeah, there's a finishing school for
you go to private school and then finishing school. Then you do a degree in was it philosophy, economics, and PPE, politics, philosophy, and economics.
That must be it.
Yeah,
I can't
I think
imagine
so.
philosophy's in it.
So there's a degree at Oxford University, and a ridiculous amount of MPs and former prime ministers have studied that degree.
You'll be in the Bullingdon Club.
Yeah.
Maybe fuck a pig.
That's like the schools
over here. Most of the big time politicians come out of Ivy League schools, you know, like Yale, Harvard, all those things. So they're almost all of them come out of those. So it sounds like it's a training program for the rulers of the world.
Yeah,
And it's
best of the
never
best.
ever someone who just came from nothing. Like it's never that. It's never
Or
someone
it's a
who
fake
just
story of
jumped
somebody
in.
who came
Yeah.
from nothing. There's that too.
I'm-
You got,
I
can you
haven't
hold it
seen
down for like 5 seconds? I gotta go pee like really bad. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is such a crock of shit.
Don't go for shit.
Ow, shit.
Oh my god, it's been 1 hour.
Gosh. How are you, Jen? How are you doing?
Good.
Are you
Just make fun of this tiny bladder.
have you been getting into like self-sufficiency and stuff, like doing microgreens and trying to
Yeah, we have a whole greenhouse. So we're growing avocados, lemons. I have an orange tree. We have basil. We have peppers, tomatoes. We have a lot of stuff. We have
Tomatoes
rosemary.
I've heard of.
And then we also have chickens. We have 5 chickens too.
What are the names?
Their names are Esther, Mabel. I
lunch?
forget them all the time. Alice. So no, we named them all old lady names. So we named them. 2 of them are named after his grandmothers, who are both deceased. And then we have Esther is our black chicken, and then we have 4 Rhode Island Reds that are all named old lady names. It's Mabel, Edna, Alice, and Joe's favorite one. I forget her name all the time.
The other one.
Sorry.
Mabel. Doris.
Excellent.
So
Are they
you
good
Doris.
layers?
That's a good one if we get another one.
This is good, yeah.
We just listed like a ton of old lady names and picked the best 5 that we could find.
So do you get fresh eggs every morning then?
Yep, 5 a day. Yep, they each lay 1 a day. It's amazing.
You talking about chickens again?
Yeah, they were asking if we were into self-sufficiency.
I'm getting quite concerned about the food thing, and I'm wondering if I need to start some microgreen stuff in
chives
in that part of the studio.
I've got numerous things growing.
Yeah, hydroponics. You could get a grow room in there.
But you can grow potato. Like we're growing potatoes. You can take a potato and stick it in dirt, and it will grow potatoes out of it. And it doesn't take very long.
We just harvested some yesterday.
Harvested potatoes yesterday.
Apparently, I was reading about potatoes because I planted some and they didn't grow. It's the first I've planted potatoes loads of times, and that's the first time they've never grown. But apparently, they spray some potatoes in the UK anyway. They spray it with some stuff so it doesn't sprout.
Oh, is it? They spray it with
the magic vaccine that.
To stop them sprouting in your cupboards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last longer.
But apparently you can get 3 harvests. Sorry. You get 3 harvests.
I wonder if you can get potato seeds. I don't know if they put seeds off.
You can get seed potatoes, like little.
No, so it's like so. Well, I can't remember the term, but it's like a bulb.
A tuber.
It's a tuber, isn't it? So it just that one potato will grow into like 10 potatoes. You take one of those potatoes, and that'll grow another 10. So where it first came from, who knows?
The original potato.
So when you're, what came first, the potato or the seed?
Yeah.
So did you when you planted your potato, was it already sprouting eyes?
No. So
you have to wait for that.
Well, I thought it would do that under the soil.
He's in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm a busy man.
Empty a bag of potatoes into it.
But I was reminded today because we have some potatoes in the fridge that have sprouted. So I think, I might have a go at doing it again.
Right.
It's quite dead easy.
Yeah. If it's sprouted eyes, go for it.
Yeah, potatoes are
It's so easy.
They're like the lazy man's crop, which is why the Irish people like them so much.
Whoa!
Zinger!
You just leave them on the counter and they start sprouting, then you stick them in dirt, and then you have potatoes in like 3 months.
Yeah, we just put 2 potatoes in a 5-gallon bucket, and these huge flowers will grow out of it. The plants get so tall, it's crazy. And then you just let them go and wait till the plants die. When the plants start to turn yellow and start to die, then you go and dig them out, and you'll have a ton of potatoes in there.
Nice.
Well,
and then you can make vodka out of them or whatever Irish people do.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's digs on the Irish.
So far, I'm growing. Thyme, mint, and rosemary. So at least,
all the major food groups.
Yeah, at least when I'm eating my Converse All Stars, they'll be appropriately seasoned.
Yeah, when you're boiling your shoes.
Yeah, when we're down to the shoe leather. And also, my dog's put on 5 kilos this year, so I'm going to get a few meals out of him.
Absolutely. Freeze that.
Oh, there you go.
Do you remember when Peter McCoy came on? Sorry.
Do you guys have plants in your yard, like weeds or anything that grows? Because those can all be eaten as well.
Nothing grows over there because they don't have sun in England. It's always gloomy and gray, and nothing fucking grows, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, especially in the northwest. The sun comes out, it's like, praise Ra, Herocte, the sun has arrived. Sacrifice the lamb.
Or the sensible people just go indoors and close all the shutters.
Yeah.
Things grow. Things do grow. My dad was a keen gardener, and he used to grow all different kinds of things. So he had like tomatoes. At one point, he had like a grapevine in his greenhouse. But unfortunately, that got mouldy, and we had to take it out after a few years.
Oh wow!
But every year, thank you. Every year used to grow onions, broad beans, peas, cabbages, lettuces, carrots sometimes. All different kinds of things just in the back garden. But it was like a south-facing back garden, yeah. And you had black currants, raspberries, strawberries, a gooseberry bush. And I used to have to pick them all. It was a fucking nightmare.
Anything else?
Did he have
Currant, grape.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, Mum,
You got some random ass sound clips. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've built up over the years.
But anyway, I was going to say, do you remember Peter McCoy, the mushroom man?
Doctor
Who?
We had an expert mycelium network guy, didn't we, a few months ago?
Oh, nice.
And he said you can get some spores for a particular type of mushroom, and you just throw it on, if you have a lawn, throw it on your lawn. And he said, like, once or twice a year, a massive mushroom will randomly appear, like a huge one, and you could chop it all up and obviously eat it.
Well,
just shoot the juice to me, Bruce.
Yeah, so if you want to find out what that mushroom was called, just go back to that episode, watch the entire hour, and see what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a meaty one, wasn't it? I can't remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a lion's
mane?
Maybe.
I don't know. No, I think it was something different. He was saying, wasn't he, that was maybe his favourite one.
Right. It was. Okay. It wasn't. It not the Worcester.
And it's just Worcester.
Worcester.
Or was it Leicester?
I think it's just Leicester.
What's the guy that you had on? What was his name?
Peter McCoy.
Mm.
How did we get him? Was it LinkedIn?
It was. Yes, I got him on LinkedIn. Yeah.
I'll send you his email.
So I read a book. What was the book? Oh, something about mushrooms.
The Immortality Key. No.
Yeah. What's the name? It's called Merlin. Merlin Sheldrake was the author.
Oh, yeah.
And his book was something about mushrooms. It's not called something about mushrooms, but it is about mushrooms. It was very interesting.
Was it like Magic Mycelium or something like that? I think there's a book. I'd have to Google it.
I don't know. So, his dad, what's his dad called?
Rupert Sheldrake.
Was like mates with the mushroom guy. The psychedelic guy, wasn't he?
Terence McKenna.
And he sort of talks about sort of going to his place in his book, and that's one part of sort of like the book in terms of psychedelics. It talks about lots of different things that he sort of researching in terms of mushrooms. But this Peter McCoy guy, as part of his PhD or something, he managed to train a particular mushroom to eat cigarette butts, so it would digest them. There's loads of interesting stuff about mushrooms in there, mycelium networks and things like that. It's like fascinating.
Yeah, Paul Stamets is another guy that has a lot of stuff. He's been on Joe Rogan a few times. That guy knows a lot about mushrooms. He's done a lot of mushrooms too.
Yeah,
I think there's some suggestion that mushrooms have an intelligence to them, and I know I believe all plants do. We just don't know how they work because they work very differently from us. Their brain is not located in the top like us, so we just think that they don't have a brain, but they definitely do because they grow and learn and adapt, which is very strange. But mushrooms are a little different because they're not really a plant and they're not really an animal. There's something in between.
Yeah, there's been an ongoing debate about that, like it starts at like mineral or plant, the consciousness fucking progression, whatever. It's like mineral, plant, animal, human. But nobody really knows where mushrooms fit into that.
Mushrooms grow in colonies, though. They grow together and they communicate with each other.
They're like the largest living organism on the earth, too. It's like, I don't know, it was like 4-mile long mycelium network underneath this forest or something. And it's like one fucking organism.
And they all talk underneath the ground.
Yeah, and the actual mushrooms that sprout up are just the fruiting parts. Like it's not even an important part of the actual mushroom. It's just the fruit part. The rest of it's all underground and you don't see it.
That's like plants with their roots. The roots are the most important part of a plant. That's why I transplant dead plants all the time. And Joe's like, what are you doing? That plant's dead. And then later it will grow back. And I'm like, but the roots looked really good. And then they grow back into the best plants ever.
And then we eat them.
Like Jesus.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
He had wicked roots, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Jesus was a mushroom.
Oh, that's the other thing, isn't it?
Depending on who you speak to.
Yeah. Oh, like the mushrooms things, yeah. I mean, there was another thing about it that he said there was a particular mushroom that he kind of used and it could solve problems in terms of like finding roots. But one of the things that sticks in my mind was they got this mushroom and it's mycelium network. So they put a bit of food around the kind of like the same shape as the island of Japan or Tokyo, and they put food on sort of like the different like cities, and the mycelium network grew exactly the same way as what the sort of transport network was. So it copied the trains and the underground. Basically.
True, man.
So it's
Bullshit.
It's cool.
This is bullshit.
I'm pretty sure I saw
Such a crock of shit.
someone plug a
Bullshit.
synthesizer into a mycelium network recently. They
Maybe.
played some mad tunes.
Was it as good as the tune that the synthesizer played on the movie Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren?
I'd say it was on a par.
Do you remember that movie, Masters of the Universe? Do you remember He-Man?
Yeah, I remember He-Man.
Do you remember the live-action movie?
No.
Oh my God, I'm going to blow your mind. Jen, you need to watch Masters of the Universe.
I gotta Google this now.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren, who was, he played the Russian guy, Ivan Drago in Rocky 4.
Oh, yeah.
And he plays He-Man in the Masters of the Universe movie. And there is some cutting-edge synthesizer tech in that.
Oh, I believe
1987.
it. I was gonna say it's from '87.
I
There's
can't believe
gotta
I
be.
didn't get to see this.
There's gotta be some dope fucking synthesizers in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank me later.
80s movies. Ugh. I had a roommate that used to make me watch 80s movies constantly. Like,
But he made you watch the best 80s movies that you missed out on because you didn't have the mindset.
I don't know. And then Jen tried to make me watch Spaceballs, and I got through like 15 minutes of it, and I was like, no, this is fucking awful.
Yes, fuck off.
Yeah, all of it. I was like, this is terrible. The acting is so cringe. Like, the jokes are just.
I
get it.
Use the Schwartz.
I'm sure it was amazing, but watching it in 2017 or whenever we tried to watch it, I was like, no,
I know.
I'm not
I had
doing
to
this.
settle, and I was like, "Have you ever seen The Fifth Element?" All right, it came out in the 90s.
That's a great movie.
It's a great movie, but it came out in like 95 or 96.
That's fine.
And then
Matrix
Hitchhiker's
came
Guide
out
to the
in 99.
Galaxy. That was another one that was hard for you to watch at
Hitchhikers,
first.
yeah.
It took 3 times.
But I
to get
love
through.
British humor, so that movie's great. The same with like Monty Python. I love that shit because it's such British fucking humor, and I'm mostly British.
But you watched it when it came out. If you were to watch Monty Python right now for the very first time, you'd fucking hate it. I know you.
No, I watched it as an adult. Like, I didn't watch it back in the day. I watched it as an adult and was like, but I was very stoned
You
as
watched
well,
it a
so
very
that
long
probably
time ago, though.
had some impact on my
Yeah.
liking it. But yeah, do you guys like Monty Python and all that old British shit?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
We are the knights who say...
A fish, and it went wherever I did go.
Yeah, I
That was
grew up
way
with
too high
Monty
level
Python.
for
There,
that.
there was some really good British sitcoms in the 80s and 90s. Did you ever see Fawlty Towers?
Nope.
Right, so that was John Cleese wrote and starred in Fawlty Towers, who was one of the Pythons, the tall one, the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah, your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
That one. But he did a sitcom about a hotel at a seaside resort in Torquay, which is like... it's
Miami.
Like, it's a cult classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fawlty Towers. You should check that out.
I'm looking it
I'll
up
have to
now.
check it
Yeah,
out.
John Cleese, Connie Booth, Prunella Scales. A lot of people. Andrew Sachs.
Yeah,
Manuel.
Yeah, Manuel.
Yeah,
Well, the Spanish,
Oh, yeah.
the Spanish waiter. I am from Barcelona. Ah, Mr. Forty.
Well, next time I get super schnockered, I'm gonna check that out.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Is it available?
I don't know. I have to
See.
look it up again.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
You might have to buy a VHS.
Be on one of the things. The
Well, then we
internet.
won't have anything to play it with, so it might be a problem.
It's probably on
Oh, we can
YouTube.
pirate it off somewhere. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You can download anything you want if you know the right place to go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
you guys, you want to wrap this up? We got
Yeah.
another show coming up here in a couple hours. We got our premium Planet Retard show, which is funny that it's premium because it's the stupidest shit you've ever fucking watched. But
what you
people soon
what you
enjoy
do?
it, so.
What are you doing on that, Joe? What are you doing on that?
We started that back in December, and it's just like a news recap. I find the stupidest fucking articles I can find,
Yeah, we
whether
find
they're
really
funny
dumb.
or just the dumbest shit ever. Like, it's just fun to go through these articles because they're actual articles. Whether they're real or not is up for debate, but they're actual articles that are out there for people to read. And the things I have to Google to come up with these is hilarious. Like I Googled penis news the other day, came up with a great one. There's a penis plant. I'll show it on the show later, but there's a penis plant in Cambodia. Look that up. It looks like a fucking dick.
It's amazing. I could
Learning
order it
new
on
shit every
Amazon.
time.
I tried to find some on Amazon just so I wanted to grow them in our front yard, just for fun.
Penis.
And you can't find them. It's hard.
No, they're like they're what did you call them? They're a plant that eats bugs. What do they
Yeah,
call
they're
those?
a carnivorous plant.
Carnivorous
so
plants,
it's a pitcher plant. So it doesn't normally look like a dick. It normally just looks like a Venus flytrap kind of. But the top of it It has
I
teeth.
think I know what you
imagine
mean.
imagine if you had a hard dick and then you take the top off the head and open it, and then inside is teeth.
I hate it when that
and then as
happens.
soon as the bug goes inside, it goes and then turns into a rock hard dick. It's so weird.
It's weird looking. Google it. Probably after the show, but yeah, Google penis plant in Cambodia. It's fucking wild. But yeah, so we just do crazy stories like that, and I looked up fart news, and I found you'd be surprised what you can find if you put in certain keywords. But yeah, that's what we do on Planet Retard.
A lot of Florida man. We try to find Florida.
Oh, yes.
Classic.
Yes.
What's our equivalent of
or
Florida?
Florida
man?
woman, whatever.
Well, recurring segments are Dick News, TikTok News, and what was the other one? Oh, Guinness World Record News. There's always some stupid fucking record somebody's trying
That's
to break.
your thing. You find the Guinness Book of World
It's on
Records.
accident. TikTok's on
The
accident
man who
too.
can balance 18 eggs on his hand or his arm or whatever.
Oh, I can do 19, I
Crazy
bet.
dumb shit.
Just retarded.
So we cover that type of news on Planet Retard. Tune in if you feel so
Yeah, come
inclined.
join us.
Excellent. Well, we'll put the link in the show notes. You need to follow
Hell yeah.
Legit Bat on Rockfin.
Yeah, and also Google UK man grows penis on arm.
Oh, yes.
That'd be a good
there's
story.
a really good
Did we
documentary.
cover that one?
I think we did. Is that well? Did they attach it because it came off and he had to like have it attached there for a minute to like get?
No, it was he had to grow it on his arm.
His birth dick, his first birth dick fell in the toilet.
It just sloughed
Just
off.
fell off. Just fell off and went plop in the toilet. So they grew another one on his arm, and then it got cancelled, didn't it? And then COVID. So he's like, "Oh, I'm just walking around with a cock on my arm
6 years.
for 6 years." Yeah, but now he's been
attached.
He's been made whole.
Wow.
Does it work though?
Does it work? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a pump in the testicle. He's got a testicle pump to make it inflate.
To make it grow. Oh my god! Yeah, these are the things
Otherwise,
we like
it's
to cover.
pointless. There's no point if it doesn't
Right.
inflate. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well
yeah,
then.
you guys send me your links too, and I'll put them in the show notes on the audio and Rockfin and all that stuff. So tell our listeners where they can find your stuff before we get the fuck out of here.
TheArmousedInquisition.com.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you imagine if you imagine Grimerica and OBDM had a baby and it was mentally retarded, that would be our podcast, I would think.
Yeah.
I love both those shows, so that's perfect.
There you are. With the English accents, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, with sexy English
That's
accents.
half the fun, actually, is your English accent makes things that wouldn't be as funny hilarious to American listeners because
Yeah.
of your accent.
And we occasionally play with our nipples as well.
He says we, but he means he.
Right. It's been great fun seeing you again.
What a
Yeah,
great
it's good
crack.
seeing you guys.
Yeah, good.
Peace out.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Peace out. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
And we are not live on our end anymore.
All right.